The most worshipped gods in Hinduism have done things that would make any psychologist uncomfortable.
And nobody talks about it. Not because these stories are hidden.
Because we've been taught to call them divine play, instead of what psychology would call them.
Moral licensing. Displaced aggression. Victim blaming. These aren't my words.
These are clinical frameworks that describe exactly what happened in these stories. 5 times the gods crossed a line and called it justice.
Number 1.
Indra, king of the gods, wanted Ahalya. She was married to the sage Gautama. So Indra disguised himself as her husband. When Gautama discovered the deception, he cursed Ahalya, turning her to stone for 1,000 years. He barely touched Indra. In psychology, this is called victim blaming. When someone with power violates boundaries, the person with less power gets punished.
Gautama didn't destroy Indra.
He destroyed the woman who was deceived.
And for thousands of years, this story has been told as a lesson about female purity.
Not about the god who committed assault.
She was turned to stone. He walked away a god.
Number 2. Brahma created Saraswati from his own being.
She was knowledge itself, his greatest creation. And then he became obsessed with her. He grew a 5th head just to keep watching her as she moved away from him. In psychology, this is called narcissistic creation. He didn't create her to set her free. He created her to possess her. The creator who falls in love with his creation isn't experiencing love. He's experiencing ownership. And in some versions, Shiva had to cut off Brahma's 5th head because his obsession crossed every boundary. This is why Brahma has almost no temples in India. Not because he isn't powerful. Because even ancient cultures recognized that this behavior was wrong. He created her. Then he pursued her. That's not love. That's ownership.
Number 3.
Parvati created Ganesha to guard her door.
When Shiva came home and a child he didn't recognize refused him entry. Shiva didn't ask questions. He didn't investigate.
He beheaded a child.
His own son.
In psychology, this is displaced aggression.
He wasn't angry at Ganesha.
He was angry at the situation, at the challenge to his authority. And he directed that rage at the most vulnerable person in the room. Yes, he replaced Ganesha's head. Yes, he made him Lord of Beginnings.
But that's what psychologists call repair behavior after abuse. The gift doesn't erase the violence. It only makes the victim feel they can't talk about it.
He gave him a new head. But the old one was still his son's.
Number 4.
King Mahabali was the most generous ruler in mythology. His kingdom was so prosperous, so equal, that the gods became afraid.
Not because he was evil. Because he was better than them.
So Vishnu disguised himself as a dwarf Brahmin named Vamana, and asked for 3 steps of land.
Mahabali, true to his nature, agreed.
Vamana grew to cosmic size and covered the earth, sky, and pushed Mahabali to the underworld with his foot. In psychology, this is institutional narcissism. When a power structure feels threatened by someone who proves the system isn't needed, the system doesn't compete.
It eliminates. Vishnu didn't defeat a villain. He removed a good king because good kings make gods look unnecessary.
His crime wasn't evil. His crime was being better than the gods.
Number 5. Karna was the greatest warrior on the Kaurava side.
He was born to Kunti, raised by a charioteer, cursed by his teacher, stripped of his armor by Indra. He lost everything not because of what he did, but because of who he was born as.
And when the moment came to kill him,
Krishna made sure it happened when Karna's chariot was stuck, when he was unarmed, when every rule of warfare said stop.
Krishna told Arjuna to shoot. In psychology, this is utilitarian dehumanization. Karna wasn't a person anymore. He was an obstacle. And when a system needs someone eliminated, it doesn't fight fair. It changes the rules until the outcome is guaranteed. Karna never had a chance. And that was the point.
They didn't break the rules. They rewrote them until Karna couldn't win.
5 incidents. 5 gods. 5 psychological patterns that any clinician would recognize. Victim blaming. Narcissistic creation. Displaced aggression. Institutional narcissism. Utilitarian dehumanization. None of this means these gods are evil. It means these stories are brilliantly, painfully human. And maybe that's the point. The gods weren't perfect because they were divine.
They were divine because they contained every darkness we do, and still chose to create, to protect, to love. The question isn't whether the gods were villains.
The question is whether we're brave enough to see the pattern. Thursday. 3 demons who were more honorable than the gods. Subscribe so you don't miss it.